Please call the roll.
To his wife's chagrin, of course.
Alderman Rhodey,
Present.
Alderman Boyd,
Present.
Alderwoman Davis, Alderman Vaccaro, Alderwoman Howard, Alderwoman Tyus, Alderwoman Murphy,
Here.
Alderman Kotar, Alderman Oldenburg, Alderwoman Middlebrook,
Present.
President Reed.
Here.
6 present, you have quorum.
All right, thanks, thanks everybody for making it. We're starting 8 minutes late. I was giving Joe more time.
We were done.
I didn't know you all was gonna be so efficient over there, moving Jeffrey's controversial.
It was
Always.
controversial.
It won't be me without
There'll be more
controversy.
debate.
It was not controversial.
So,
Very good, Bill.
I'll entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes from the, whatever day, was it
22nd.
October the 22nd meeting?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Rhodey,
Aye.
Alderman Boyd,
Aye.
Alderwoman Davis, Alderman Vaccaro,
Aye.
Alderwoman Howard, Alderwoman Tyus, Alderwoman Murphy,
Aye.
Alderman Kotar, Alderman Oldenburg, Alderwoman Middlebrook,
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye.
6 aye votes.
All right, motion carries. So, a couple things before we jump into, the two items that we're gonna move through today, and they should be fairly quick. One of the things that the auditor talked about was the fact that we go into closed session for the job interviews. You know, they didn't say, they said that I don't think they went as far as to say that we should not go into closed session to interview these people. But, you know, I think that I think it's totally appropriate that we do that because of the setting that we're in. You know, any other job interview, if you go to work for Anheuser-Busch or any place else, it's not a public event, right? And I don't know that, you know, the people who come here to interview for a job, if they want to see it live streamed online, when a lot of them currently have a job someplace else, and their other employers can say, oh yeah, I saw you live streamed at the Board of Aldermen at a hearing where you went to apply for a job. So I think it's still appropriate, and, you know, we're going to challenge that point and push back on it and put it more in context so that they understand that this is a little bit different than other jobs that you may apply for through city government, right? Where we're actually, the committee itself, we're actually interviewing people. And I don't know if there's any discussion or anybody.
No, I agree.
No, I
Because
agree.
we talk about them too. So, you know, I mean, if we're saying, man, yeah, well, he's like, I think I know him to be a drunk or something.
Oh, good point.
You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, are they
Yeah.
talking about just the interview and our discussion
The
when
interview
Joe
and
Blow
the-
leaves?
It's probably the interview and the discussion, but you know, it's like,
I mean, we might
so
say-
we're
I
not,
think it's silly. You know, I mean, they're looking for stuff to, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because we do present, 2 or 3 candidates and that resume
Yeah.
for open discussion on the floor and a vote.
exactly right, exactly right. Plus, it's like, you know, people who may come, hey, how you doing, Alderman?
I'm fine, how are you?
All right, so also people who may come for an interview, it's like, you know,
That'd make me more of a nervous wreck.
oh, yeah,
Think if
yeah.
it's not-
Hey, by the
interview
way,
was
you're gonna be
live
live streamed, so you probably need to tell your boss that you come and interview with the board.
It's nerve-wracking enough, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So, with that, I'm gonna turn it over to the clerk for the two items that, I think there's only two, right? That Terry, Terry fell off a ladder, his back is injured, and he is like on major painkillers and stuff, so his doctor,
I want to say Saturday.
Ooh,
yeah, so the doctor told him, you know, not to, you know, come in or anything, so he will not be here to go over the two items. Madam Clerk,
I know one thing, I'm sorry.
we already
We
did.
did minutes.
we did.
One thing I know the clerk did want to, the committee to adopt was the job descriptions. So it's a list of all the job descriptions that has been recently updated. Terry met with each individual and kind of combined everything that we do and everything that's listed, so he definitely wanted to update that. I'm sorry, adopt that.
So that, the job descriptions are in the thick
Right, yeah,
packet.
he sent them to us.
Yeah. Has everybody had a chance to review them? Any changes or anything on any of them? And I'll go around real quick. Alderman Rhodey?
I haven't had a chance to review them, but I'm sure it's a vast improvement over what we had, so.
Alderman Boyd?
I just had a comment that I really appreciate the employee compensation policy when we're requiring employees to perform additional duties for months and months and months and without, compensating them. So I just want to make that comment. But I don't have any further comments about job descriptions.
Alderman Vaquero?
No
Howard. Alderman Tyus?
I have a question. So the administrative aid is the job that
Terrence,
Terrence used to do, right?
Sorry.
I'm thinking, yeah.
Okay, all right, just wanted to make sure that was it. And question,
Oh, go ahead. What's next?
okay, I have another question.
Did he change it or something? Go ahead.
Okay, that's all right, no, I was gonna say, and so he delivers mail, he runs copies, so is he also is he or she, cause this could be a she. I sound sexist now, are they also allowed to like run errands?
Yes.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, and that's the stuff Terrence just, when he, and, as you said this, when he left the first time, we should let him leave, because when we recruited him and brought him back, he was, man, he didn't want to do any of that stuff, and he would really get nasty with the staff about it.
and he also was going through, his son died,
Oh,
and
that's-
that's,
Well,
committed
yeah,
suicide, so that
yeah,
takes
yeah.
you to a whole nother level, but, right, sometimes when you bring people back, when they walk off the job, and not just him, other people too who walked off the job.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
yeah,
I probably
okay.
should remind people that.
We're in open session, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
we're in
right.
open session, so I probably shouldn't.
Right.
Any other discussion on these items before? All right.
The recorder archivist, so we don't have that right now necessarily.
What?
The recorder
Archives, no ma'am.
archivist, that's what I was thinking. I mean, that was the one, everything else looked good, and I thought, well, we don't have that.
Or the information technology aid, that's also a new position that he created.
ITA, okay. Terrence did that too.
Alderman Middlebrook?
No comments.
All right, if there aren't any additional comments related to the job descriptions, I'll entertain a motion to adopt them as given to us by the clerk.
Yeah, before we do that, I was just wondering, should we have a date on these so we know what we're voting on? Like dated such and such date?
Yeah, under the job description, we can say, yes, let's do,
Today's date,
yeah, so.
Twelve, three,
Yeah.
19.
12-3, yeah, man, I lost a whole, 12-3.
And I just wanna go on record as saying, I'm opposed to getting rid of the legal researcher, but okay. I think that we could really use somebody who could go do research. Having one attorney is hard.
Yeah.
But I understand the need for other things.
Alderman Rhodes?
I'm sorry, I was reading when somebody asked about the recorder or archivist.
Yeah.
Is that a new position, and information technology aid is new too then, or?
Yes,
Yes.
both those are new positions.
There was a legislative researcher position previously that's being replaced.
Right, by these.
That-
these-
yeah.
Okay, so those are two new positions then, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're up two and down one, so what net new one? The thing that we have not had down here is like a uniform CRM system.
Yes, and we've discussed that in the past. I think we should really make a concerted effort to put it in this year's budget and make it a priority item to get it done this year. Because it would help, certainly help the administrative staff and everybody to have a uniform system to use.
Does Citizen Service Bureau, do they have a CRM that they use, or does anybody know?
I don't know.
What is a CRM?
Client relationship management software, so basically it's a way for multiple people to track a specific request or complaint. So if you ever call into an investment company, mortgage company or something like that, they'll actually have, when you call in, they'll identify you on your incoming call, you know, who's calling. More than likely, it'll pull up your record, so like if you have a mortgage with them or something like that, and then they will actually say, okay, spoke to Mr. Boyd today, was concerned about the escrow estimate for next year's payments, referred him to so-and-so in the other department. It's then date stamped. And then what happens is 3 weeks from now, when something didn't happen that was supposed to, you call back in. Oh, hi, Mr. Boyd, let me look through your record. And Lisa spoke to you last week from her call, when you called in last time 3 weeks ago. She said that she passed it over to Beth. Let me check with Beth and see what's going on over there. So everybody is, you know, so everybody in the organization has the same software. They're all dealing with the same person who has their unique identifier number, and there's notes and information is kind of constantly being added to that.
Okay.
So it's client relationship management, CRM.
But
And
wouldn't the
if-
whole
and-
city have to have it?
Well, no.
I mean,
this-
every department?
They wouldn't have to have, hold on one second. One of the, like, it even tracks every time an email is sent. So if you send someone an email, it tracks that, and it tracks when they open the email. So all of those records are automatically updated. And, you know, since you're dealing with one common entity, right, across all of them, like phone numbers, email addresses, and all that stuff are shared between all administrative staff, and it's being constantly updated. Alderwoman Tyus?
I was gonna say, well, years ago, we did automatic requests. When they did Citizen Service Bureau originally, I don't know if you remember this, they were gonna give older people access to go in and be able to track it. It wouldn't be that we could change, but we could track what was going on in citizen service. I've heard that they have that somewhere. They never provided it for me, but I think some of the younger people have an access where they go in and track what's going on without having to call Citizen Service Bureau. And I don't know if you're talking about something for us specifically, but we would still need to have access to, if people have called in to the citizen services.
Well, the idea, so probably the company that is most advanced in this right now, or the one that's, you know, getting all the attention, is something called Salesforce. If you Google Salesforce, or, you know, it's pretty expensive though.
Yeah.
But then there's all kinds of them. Some of them are tailored to specific industries. So.
But I'm saying, I think Citizen Service does have one. I don't know how
Yeah.
good it is, but I think they have one.
But the good thing, look, one of the things that Salesforce brings to the table are, you know, they can update records automatically. So if somebody passes away, somebody moves, then they change companies, whatever, right? Their records can be automatically updated. So you have really current information on the people as they move around, and you can keep their records all coordinated and up to date on the system. We should,
I've used some in the past that when you get phone calls, this is like Yeah, there's a bunch of different ones out there. When you get phone calls, it will actually look up the record of
Yeah.
the person calling you if the phone number is
Yeah.
in your system. It'll pull up that record, so you'll actually
Automatically.
have
Sitting in
all of
front of
those histories in front of you. If you have their email, and when you send an email, it will automatically log that email and attach it to that record.
Yeah.
If you go ahead and receive an email from that person, that will get logged
Logged
into
into
the
the
record.
record, yeah.
So
And then
you
it-
have, and then you can go ahead, and if your assistant sends out a letter, they can go ahead and attach the letter to the record. So
Exactly.
all of your correspondence, all the phone calls in, everything is then logged in. And that's when you have a really nice system that we use. I mean, we've used a couple different ones over the years, and, you know, I subscribe to them at my other business, but, and I've even bought Sherry a license down here, but it's just logistically unbelievably, you know, to the
They
point
would-
where she couldn't use it, you know. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I sent her to training and all kinds of other stuff, and it just didn't work out because,
And see, and
well,
it would-
you needed to go ahead and we need to make,
and you need
you have
multiple
all kinds of
people.
there's a lot of problems with it, like
Yeah.
firewalls and stuff like that you have to deal with. So it's a concerted organizational effort and commitment to get that, but,
Why don't we direct the clerk to look into the city's current system, right? And report back to us on that. To see if just give us a report on that, because then we'll be able to see how that compares to what we'd like to.
Yeah.
Because I've used a lot of the CRMs, and I've written some too.
Yeah.
You know, and they are hugely helpful. But you need the whole operation.
everybody needs, I mean, they don't work, in our office, everybody's, ours is Red Tail that we use, which is
Okay.
custom to what we do, but,
So-
but the subscription can be,
Yeah.
you know, I
They're
don't know what
expensive.
Salesforce is, but it could be, you know, $1,000 a license a year or something like that, so,
Yeah, per person.
yeah.
Yeah, per person that's logging in.
Oh, I see.
And then
That's
they
a lot.
limit
Yeah.
the number of records that you bring in and all kinds
Yeah.
of other stuff, and the number of transactions. But if one of y'all wanna make a motion that we have the clerk, to look into the current system and give us a report back.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
I'll second
All in ties, for a second?
Carl already
Carl.
did. I don't wanna step on his toes.
Carol.
Okay,
See?
I'll third it.
Yeah, Carol second. Joe motion, Carol second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman
Previous
Rhodey,
roll.
Better request.
Objection.
Oh,
Oh, she went.
Alderman Rhodey,
Aye.
Alderman Boyd,
Aye.
Alderwoman Davis, Alderman Vaccaro,
aye.
Alderwoman Howard, Alderwoman Tyus.
Aye.
Alderwoman Murphy,
Aye.
Alderman Kotar, Alderman Oldenburg, Alderwoman Middlebrook,
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye.
7 aye votes.
Vote stay in motion, so please notify the clerk to look into the current system that's being used by Citizen Service Bureau and other departments, you know, for CRM, so. Because I really don't even know what their system, I don't know that they have a full-fledged CRM like you're talking about and I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't think they
Let's-
do, you know, I mean.
Let's look into what they have.
But ideally, if we were gonna do it over here, you'd like to be tied into the,
Have to be.
to whatever they're doing over there.
Yeah. And
And maybe what we end up doing is a large part of our job is, you know, we're like a liaison for our community. And so, you know, what is that? That's probably 50% of our work down here. And it's not particularly a good use of our time, but it's, if you wanna get reelected, you damn well better be on top of that. And the thing is that's the most logical thing to delegate to the staff down here, but I don't know about anybody else, but I'm always a little hesitant to delegate that to somebody else unless I can go ahead
And follow
and actually
through
see a
and document,
report
yeah.
that documents the
And
calls.
how do you do it when we need to hire enough secretaries? Cause that makes it really hard if they gotta do a lot of that with 4 or 5 aldermen too.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, but they call that stuff productivity software. And
I know.
it dramatically increases your productivity because you can go ahead and your letters and everything, you'll have a lot of templates, and you can just go ahead and you get a template. And you just go ahead and all those routine letters, support
Email
letters and stuff like
templates,
that.
all of those things are templated, so you just select the one you want, they fill in all the appropriate information. So, so now the other thing is the employee compensation policy. Oh, motion for the job description,
I move that we update,
go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I move that we, adopt updated employee's job description,
Dated,
dated 12/3/19.
Yeah.
and it's been moved by Alderman Tyus,
That was my question.
entertain a second.
Sure.
Seconded by Alderman Vaccaro. Is there a request for previous role?
I would request previous
Previous role, motion carries. All right, so on the employee compensation policy, if you all want to talk any specifics about any employees or whatever, then we'll have to go into closed session. But just in general, have you had an opportunity to read through the employee compensation policy, and you have any updates, changes, additions, or deletions?
Is this related to the state auditor?
The clerk started working on it, after we brought him in, after we hired him. And then the state auditor, he discussed it with the state auditor. State auditor was in agreement that this is one of the things that we need to do. So that's.
I was just, have we gotten much of, I haven't seen anything that the state auditor said about the Board of Aldermen specifically. I mean, is there something out?
They sent us something.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
did they?
There's a draft out there.
Terry sent it and somebody else sent it.
Yeah, there's
maybe I
a
didn't
draft
see
for
it.
you to
Okay.
take a look at, so.
Okay, I missed that, I'm
Yes, so
sorry.
did I don't think I saw.
But I mean, we did fairly good. There wasn't anything glaring. Is any questions on the employee compensation policy?
No,
Alderman Tyre?
This is not in here, but this is what I wanna make a comment, what I learned being the chair of public employees, is that when we move everybody up to the top of these, what they can make, there's no place for them to go. And we do that because maybe we think that, they're not making enough, but unless we get them reclassified or something, that makes people very unhappy because there's no place to go. And we either need to be more careful about bringing people in at the top of the scale, or we need to look at doing some reclassification.
Okay.
so will
That's
this,
a good.
will this go backwards? I mean, the only thing I'm thinking of, like, our attorney Lou, he did the job of the attorney and the and the,
I don't think.
you know,
I don't think. we
yet he was
do
never
retroactive
compensated
stuff.
for
We-
both.
We don't have budget to do retroactive.
Okay.
'Cause
I just say he
think-
did both and was never compensated for it.
Any any further discussion on this specifically? Because in open session, we're in open session now, I don't think we discussed.
Oh, it's okay, I
things
just
related
say,
to any-
but I was just saying, that, you know, I know what this is.
But we're in open session, so we'll discuss any direct personnel things with, in closed session. Any?
No, that was it, nothing
I'll
exciting.
entertain the motion for the employee compensation policy dated
319.
12/3/19.
I move that we adopt the employee compensation policy dated 12/3/2019.
Been moved by Alderman Boyd. I entertain a second on that motion.
Second.
Seconded by
Previous
Alderman
role.
Tyus. Then a request for previous role. Hearing no objection, motion carries. Under old business and miscellaneous, unfinished business, anyone? Anything else?
Can I-
Yep, go ahead. You-
I was gonna suggest that we do,
The personnel matters.
I had Gerard starting on this a little bit on,
Sorry.
I had Gerard starting on this for a little bit, but I think it should probably be a more holistic approach. an orientation for new older people, so that takes them through different parts of everything from financial stuff, which Gerard was kind of starting to work on, but I think like even ethics stuff, somebody should go through, and at one point, when Donna Berenger was chairwoman of one of the committees, we have a bunch of stuff on the books that I am absolutely positive that people forget about, like taking campaign contributions from gambling boats to travel to a bunch of stuff like that, everything. So what we typically do, you know, in my other life, we have a process each year, and it's a series of attestations, which, you know, they were subject to regulatory review and audits and everything. And what happens is every time there's a screw up anywhere in the industry, they publish somebody who's getting fined or kicked out of the industry for something. And then, of course, that becomes the next hot thing, because the lawyers are always trying to, you know, I should make it sound. But yeah, we're, you know, different groups are getting sued constantly, or enforcement, you know, there's always an evolving ethics thing. But every time something comes up, you have this thing expanding, and it used to be like one page 30 years ago when I started in the industry. Today, I mean, we're answering 30 or 40 questions every year, and then at the end of it, we sign off and attest to it. And it's basically, but it's really very good, I mean, very good for us, because it highlights all of the different areas that regulators are particularly looking at any given time, and at least it makes us aware of them. And, you know, have we updated all of our security, you know, software? Have we, how do we, all of these things. I mean, everything that we can possibly imagine screwing up, they ask us about it, you know, and you have to sit there and think about it for a second, and then you say yes. And then, of course, everybody says yes to a couple things they hadn't thought about, but then they run back to our compliance department and said, okay, well, I said yes to this, you know, I'm not really doing it. What should I be doing to fix this problem? But like, we have a whole bunch of those things that, you know, we're just setting ourselves up for embarrassment with all these ordinances that have been passed years ago that we all forget about. I remember a year or two ago, some of the older people went on a trip that was paid for, you know, not by a particular, you know, not by an entity, you know, a lobbying group. It was, I think it was, well, I guess they were lobbying in a way, TrailNet, I think, talking about some things. So a group of them went on a trip. Oh, they were a complete violation. None of them reported it, and they were a complete violation. And it's just because we have something out there, a travel policy that nobody's aware of. And if we went ahead and went back and had somebody dig through all that stuff,
Like a legal research analyst.
and get all that stuff up and make that as part of our annual attestation. I mean, like, I know that the last couple of years, for example, I'm pretty sure we failed to, if those of us who take the expense reports, and stuff like that. And so we just went ahead and you get all that stuff in one place, and everybody goes through it, and that's part of their orientation. And frankly, it's probably part of it. It's probably a good thing for us all to do once a year, and because I don't think there's too many people down here who are really trying to beat the system. More or less, most of the time, people are making mistakes on things
that they don't.
That they didn't even know were wrong. You know.
Yeah, we like right now, when the new older people come in, we go through an entire orientation with them. We go through their budgets, we go through line items, we go through all of that stuff. We do not do the compliance piece, right? And now that we have Terry on board, I think it would be good to create a whole structure around the stuff that we do automatically right now, and this compliance piece, right? So right now, like, we go through all the rules with them. We do mock sessions at the full board and
Well, that's all great. I didn't know that was stuff was going on.
Yeah. We go through all the budget line items. We talk to them about the way the budget pools work with the city and Otis and all those guys. We used to go through block grant funding with them, when they had it. Like what was in their budget, what it can be used for, you know, what are some of the outstanding things, what are some of the issues that the previous alderperson had with moving the funds and all that. So we go through all of those things right now, but we do not do a compliance piece. So, now with Terry on board, I think that would be.
Yeah, and they probably ought to take in the election, you know, campaign fund, campaign
All that
finance
stuff,
and
yeah.
stuff. I mean, I tell you, spending an hour or two on that stuff once a year
Yeah,
will help you keep
yeah.
yourselves out of the newspaper, keep ourselves out of the newspaper.
All right, we do, you wanna talk about that?
I believe so, you know, the clerk put this agenda together, but I'm pretty sure that portion, item number 3, I think it is.
It was 4.
Item number 4 is would be for the committee to vote to go ahead and post the, I think it's 4 vacant positions now.
Oh,
Yeah.
But the, you know, so I think what we were waiting on was these updated job titles and descriptions, but, so apparently the archivist, the IT aide, one of the secretary positions, and an administrative aide are all vacant
Yeah, so if we wanna.
and in the budget.
Yeah, so if we wanna, you know, because before, when he was going to, post them, you remember at our last meeting, when he was gonna post them, somebody brought up the job descriptions and wanted to see the job descriptions updated first. That's why this has been done. The job descriptions are now updated. Now he's ready to post for those various different positions with updated job descriptions. So if someone wants to make a motion for that,
I thought do we need to go into close?
if you wanna discuss them, otherwise we're just gonna make a motion to allow him to post them. But if you wanna discuss like specific details about, you know, salary stuff or anything like that related to any of them, people that may have applied, those types of things.
have people applied already?
No, there may be a leftover pool, and I remember he was.
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
working
From the
on-
secretaries, we had.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. You wanna discuss those things, we'll go in closed session, otherwise, we're just gonna, you know, give them the authority to post. So let me go around and see if anybody has. Alderman Rhodey, any questions?
No.
Alderman Boyd, any questions?
No question.
Alderman Vaquero, any questions?
No.
Alderman Tyus? Alderman Murphy? Middlebrook? All right, someone would like to make a motion to give the clerk the authority to post the 4 previously mentioned positions.
I'll make the motion.
It's been moved,
Second.
been
For
moved and
previous
seconded.
role.
There's been a request for previous role. Here, no objection, motion carries. So please notify the clerk that he's free to post the 4 positions. Anything else on ties?
Wi-Fi. I'm gonna talk about this every single time.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Wi-Fi and the ability to hear when the meetings are being announced. So I wanted to,
You brought that up before, but.
well, because one of the questions I have, since we have this intercom on our phone, is there a way we could use the intercoms on our phone? Because you cannot hear it in lots of these offices back here. You can be sitting waiting for the meeting in the morning, and you don't hear it. We don't hear it in our office, they don't hear it in theirs a lot of times. And I can't get Wi-Fi, I cannot send anything, I have to step outside or go into my cell to use Wi-Fi. And that just, to me, we ought to have a secure network here in the board.
My Wi-Fi.
I actually
works
like
right
that, I actually like that. Because the Wi-Fi that we use right now is just an open.
Right.
It's like the Wild Wild West, it's like we're in a coffee house, Starbucks or something like that, right? But for a lot of the aldermen that use their laptops and iPads and stuff, they're out on that public Wi-Fi. And if they don't have their security features turned on, then people can get into their stuff. So we can talk to, I think we can talk to IT, and I think that they would be more than happy to set us up a secured Wi-Fi network for here. Because the way we got the one that we have now is that we pushed them to do the one that we have now. And that's why we
But
found out.
unsecured, okay, for a
But they put it
legislative
in-
body,
they put
why
it
would you
in
even
on
do that?
secure. Yeah, so.
Okay.
You wanna have IT come to the personnel?
No, I think we just, I think we request
Right.
the information from them, and we'll present it back to you.
And then, I was gonna call, if you don't mind, I'll call and follow up on how we can do the announcements on the phone, cause somebody told me that they thought that instead of, cause you know, they make the announcement, I don't know, do we have intercom, I mean,
Yeah,
do we have some kind of speaker system or something like that? Because if it is, it's not working.
Okay.
And if we can use our telephones, which each of us have in our office, if there's some way they can make the announcement.
Oh, through
there.
the
the phone on our
handset.
desk.
Oh, I thought you meant your cell phone.
No.
Yeah,
No,
they
no,
can
no,
definitely
So,
do it through the
that's what I'm
phone.
saying.
That
so
would
that-
be a good idea.
Okay,
I'll follow up if you don't mind.
yeah, please follow, they
Okay.
can definitely do that, they can definitely do that. All right, if there's nothing else, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
It's been moved, Alderman Rhodey, seconded by Alderman Vaquero, that we adjourn. Is there a request for previous roll?
Previous role. But,
We
if
adjourn.
cameras are off,
No,
from the golf, if they're off.
So the meeting's adjourned.